Hello, everyone. Good evening, Australia. Good evening, New Zealand. Let me know if you can hear me and see me in the chat. Let me just open the chat. Yes, perfect. Wait, I'm just going to change a view. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba, ba. Oh, I'm not sure if I can see myself clearly, but yeah, sweet. My name is Magic. I'm going to be host of this webinar. I am a Pic-Time ambassador, wedding photographer based in Warsaw, Poland. So I'm quite far away from, I'm guessing, most of you guys. I'm going to be joined by my co-host in a second, but first I'm going to do some technical introduction just before I'm going to bring her on the stage. So I'm making sure you guys can hear me and see me. So just fill the chat with the information. Yes, please. And also technical stuff. So using the chat in Zoom webinars, when you type your message, you do see this little blue thing above the message saying to who you are writing the message. So make sure you change it to the hosts and panelists, from hosts and panelists to everyone. So we can actually have a conversation in the chat, because otherwise whatever you're going to be typing is going to be only me and my co-host seeing this. And we do want actually everyone to see, because like usually at this webinars, we do have like meaningful conversation in the chat, some technical stuff. Also in the chat, we do have 3 Pic-Time support members to help us answering the questions. So if you have some questions along the webinar during a demo that we're going to have today, just feel free to write them in the chat, and hopefully one of our support members is going to answer that. We have Yana, Amanda, and Marianne in the chat. So they're all in Australia, actually. So that's pretty convenient for you guys. Okay, sweet. I can see. Oh, we do have someone from Portugal as well. Let us know where are you from in the chat. That's something that's always fun. You know, reading those places that you are all in. Like Pic-Time is very international, but this webinar is especially made for Australia, for New Zealand, because like usually you are in the different time zone for that we do all the webinars. So that is the one especially for the time zone that is convenient for you guys. We do have a lovely guest today, all of them photographers from Australia and New Zealand, that they're going to be sharing some tips and tricks how they use Pic-Time in their workflow, in their areas of photography. And yeah, so that sounds, I think that sounds awesome. I'm excited. I don't know all these guests in person, so I'm going to meet them as well, along with all of you guys. So yeah, let me bring on stage Katrina. Katrina. Oh, hey, Katrina.
Hey, Magic. Hi, everyone.
So this is my co-host, Katrina. Welcome her in the chat by doing some emojis, please. Katrina, can you like briefly introduce yourself to the crowd?
Yeah, sure, Magic. So I'm my name's Katrina Ferguson. I'm a family newborn home session photographer. I'm a lifestyle photographer, and I've been using Pic-Time for a few years now, and I'm mad keen on it. Big geek, I love it, and I'm really excited to hear how everyone else is using it, making it work in their business tonight. So bring it on.
Yes, yep. And Katrina also is a Pic-Time expert, I'd say. Would you agree on that?
I'm working on it. Let's put it that way. I'm working on it.
You're working on that. Okay. Like there's the tons of stuff that you can actually do in Pic-Time, and Katrina will do the brief introduction to how the system works as well. So just one more note before we get into the stuff. We call it in Poland, we call it like meat. Before we get into the meat, the whole core of our webinar today, just say like the Australia and New Zealand are actually a very important communities for Pic-Time. Like 3 support members that we have tonight for you guys are actually based in Australia. So whenever you have some problems with Pic-Time and you click on that chat icon, you'll be connected to one of the local for you support members, which is awesome. We do have the support members all across the world. So like, it's crazy actually how you think about that. Like that there are people sitting at their computers, like from New Zealand, Australia, like Europe to to West Coast of America, like pretty crazy to me. And helping you photographers doing your stuff, because we need help sometimes. So yeah, so Katrina, maybe let's just do it. Share your screen and show us Pic-Time.
All right. As I'm doing that, I'll say too that with the cool thing with the chat too is that it's available to your clients as well, and their visitors when they get to the gallery. So that's awesome as well. It's not just for photographers, anyone can access it, which is really handy. All right, so what we'll do, I'll just move this bit out of the way so I can see, is start off by having a look at the gallery. So this is from the client side of things. So this is obviously your cover photo area, and there are a whole bunch of designs that you can choose from with this. You can customize your colors as well. You'll set up your logo in the back of the system. So that's all, pre-populated for you. You can customize this, to basically however you want. And obviously you can, customize and complement the photo that you're choosing there as your main gallery image. So as people scroll through, you can come down into this bit here, and you've got the option of adding in some, you can drop in video footage. So you can do that via your Vimeo link or YouTube, and also Smart Slides is supported, and Animoto. And as well as that, you can also create your own slideshows directly in the back of Pic-Time. So this is a relatively new feature, which is amazing. It's a really powerful sort of feature to have, and you can do it in all sorts of formats. So this here is showing you sort of the classic horizontal format, but you can also do it in mobile format and a couple of different ratios as well. The heaps of flexibility with that. I'll see if it'll play for a few seconds, but there are plenty of samples out there. So that just gives you a quick idea, but there is so much you can do with the slideshow feature. There's a whole bunch of music in there and beat matching and all sorts of stuff. So it's well worth looking right into that and getting familiar with the builder, because it's obviously opens up a whole new avenue that you can sort of present your work with. And it's a really great way to get your clients excited and introduce them to their gallery. And you can use it as a sneak peek feature as well through some of the automations. As you can send it to your client so that that's what they're going to see first and nothing else, if you like. So really nice way to sort of get the emotions flowing and take them back to their day or their session, that sort of thing. So coming down into the photo part of a client's gallery. So they're going to see obviously all the photos that you put in there for them. They can come in here, and when you hover over images, there are usually different options there, but they can create their own favorites lists. And also it's really, as a photographer, if you come into the back end of the gallery and you go through and you favorite your sort of at least 6 images that you love and that you want to show up in your smart store, which I'll show you in a minute, that's how you do that. And that's often asked about. So it's something that's well worth knowing that you can do. You can actually, you can actually sort of control what's going to start showing up in there. And also you can also control how this gallery looks in terms of spacing and sizes of images in your settings as well. There's a few different options that you've got to play with that. So heaps of flexibility on how you want it to look. And hey, look, thanks heaps to Anna too for letting us share this amazing gallery. It looks gorgeous. The shop part of it. So this is the shop within that same gallery. So your clients have their 2 tabs to work with. And this is the shop that Anna's curated for her clients, the products that she's included here. And so see how these photos are generating into these products. that all happens automatically, or I say automagically. I think it's amazing. It's such a cool feature, and it's definitely the thing that that caught my eye and got me initially to switch to Pic-Time. So really cool feature. And in terms of, if we actually go in and have a look at one of the products here, actually I've got it opened already, so it doesn't have to load because my internet's a bit slow. But so I've clicked into an album here, and this is another really amazing feature that's on offer to us and to our clients, is this automatic album design. And this is all done sort of with, you know, a secret magic algorithm that does it based on, you know, I showed you before, told you before about choosing your favorites. So as clients do that, and the more that they interact with their own images, the algorithm and the, you know, secret magic AI stuff picks up on all that, and it creates this initial album design that the client and or you can edit. But as a starting point, I mean, have a look at this. This is all just done this automatically. It also does it. It also reads, you know, colors and things like that. It sort of, you know, bunches them together. How they, you know, it visually reads it and puts things together in a complementary way, and really sort of, you know, modern and clean, minimalistic, all the things that are classic Pic-Time signatures. Yeah, that's your album and your shop area. So, and you can pick and choose what goes into your shop, which is so you've obviously got heaps of flexibility in that regard. So if you don't want to offer certain products, you just don't put them in your price list, which I'll show you in a minute. And if you do, yeah, obviously you pop them in. So speaking of, I'll take you now into the back end of the system. So as the photographer, this is what you're going to see. And this settings section that I've clicked through to here, this is where you want to go. You are going to want to go first and make sure that everything is set up the way that we need it to be. So starting right from the start, I won't go through all of them, but some of the key points here, obviously, you're going to want to come in here and it's really important that you set your address details. And over here, you've got your time and locale. You want to set that as well. It's specific, obviously, to where you are. There's plenty of options in there. Let me get off that. And your English, your languages as well. So this is for the client gallery area, or settings function, I should say. And then this is for your art galleries, if you've got that set up as well. And your time zone is also really important to make sure that is correct, because that relates back to a lot of the emails and the starting times of your automations and campaigns. So that really needs to be on point, so that, you know, the system isn't sending out things to your clients in the middle of the night and all sorts of silly things like that. So you're also going to want to go in and set up your brand and style. So in here, this is going to look a bit different. Sorry, I'm in a Pic-Time one. So it does look a little bit different, but when you're in your own, you can set up all different sorts of things. You can add in your logo to set up your watermark. You can have two different watermark options, but with one logo, if that makes sense. So you upload your one logo, and then you can choose how you want that to display. You can have two different options, how you want that to look. Setting up your store pricing, obviously this is super important, and you'll spend a lot of time in here, certainly initially to begin with, to get going. You can have multiple price lists going, which is really cool. So you can, you know, for different, if you're shooting different genres or all different sorts of things, you can have as many, oh look, I could be wrong there, someone can correct me. I was going to say as many as you want, but there may be a max. I certainly haven't maxed it out, and I've got a whole heap of them set up. But let's have a look inside one here. So you're going to come in here, you can set your unit, change that over to inches or whichever you prefer. That's a really one that's easy to miss, but it can be quite frustrating if you're in there trying to sort it out and it's not on what you want it to be. So you can, when you are setting up your price list, it's going to show, let's have a look. If you want to add a new one in. So you're going to obviously give it a price, a name, and then you have the option down here. So you can see we're set up with some Australian and New Zealand labs straight away. And you can obviously come in and switch these around or add in, let's see, come down to Memento Pro, add them in as well. You can also come down here, and when your preferred labs aren't available, you might want to come in and disable that product so that someone doesn't accidentally order this product from a lab that's halfway across the world and you haven't set up your pricing to sort of accommodate for that. So all these settings are here for you to get yourself organized. And if you want to create a new price list, you can do it that way. This Australian, we've set one up here just to show you. So this gives you an awesome idea of the massive range of products that are available. So not every product is available at every lab, but as you click into them, it does give you this information. So you know, you can figure out really quickly if you have a preferred lab, or if you want to make sure that you are using these local labs to you, then you can come in and check all that out. All that information is in here for you, ready to go. So you can see here, it's fulfilling with Celdex, and you can come in and change that to whomever you need for that product or prefer. You can come in, let's have a look. See, so this one's set up for Atkins, and then you can come in here, and this is the sort of the product info that gives you the full information. So as it says here, this is the stuff that's visible to the clients. Let them know all the details, how long the production time is going to be. You can come down here, information for photographers. You can see all the options that are available. Now, obviously, this is referencing products that you're choosing to auto-fulfill with the integrated labs. Obviously, if you're choosing to self-fulfill, which you can do, so there's heaps of flexibility with that in that regard in terms of what you offer. So you can choose to offer products from one lab, from 3, 4 labs. You can also choose to self-fulfill, and then you can have a combination of the two. So mix and match it however you want. You can also get all the information in here about where that product is possible to ship to. So if you do have international clients, yeah, you can see here if it's possible to get that product to them with that particular lab. Let's have a look. We'll go back into the settings, I think. Yeah, as you can see, so these grayed out products here, these are the ones that haven't been turned on for this particular shop, or this price list, I should say, and everything else in here has been. So yeah, lots of options there that you can do with your moving on to your store settings. So this is really important. Obviously, again, something that you're going to want to make sure that this is set up the way that you want it to be before you're sort of sending out galleries and stores to your clients. So you're going to want to come in here and set up your currency. Obviously, we would do that in Australian or New Zealand dollars. Change it to whatever is relevant to you. Payment collected by, in most cases, you would probably flick this over to yourself. I've only ever done it as myself, but you can, in the States, you can get Pic-Time to do that for you. But given that it's not relevant to us, make sure that you are set as collecting the payment there. You also want to choose down here and set up your payment gateway. So there's PayPal, Stripe, and then you can also set up offline payments if you're doing sort of cash or EFT payments as well. And your tax, you're going to want to set up this to suit your preferences as well. So you can set up to show no tax, or you could come in and you could set it up down here with your 10% GST and have a play around with that and figure out what's going to work best for you there, depending on your business. Sorry, I'll just cancel that because I'm just playing around, basically demoing. You can come over here and you can do your price change, set up your price change policy. So as occasionally labs they can change prices on their end. Pic-Time always make that very clear. You always know that. But you can also set it up in this back end to sort of as a fail safe that if it does change and you somehow miss that and don't come in and manually adjust things, you can set it up to do that for you. That's probably about it in the back end of things that I'll show you. Automations, obviously. Let's Magic,
maybe before we get into automations, we can mention, because you were showing the different labs that we can choose, and there are like 4 of them, like specifically based in Australia and New Zealand. We have like 3 in Australia and 1 in New Zealand. Like let's just briefly give you introduction of these labs, because some of you might know them, some of you might not know that they are in Pic-Time. So we have like the oldest one, it's Atkins. I was like actually reading about Atkins, that it was in business since 1936, which is crazy actually. 85 years in business. Impressive, very impressive. Some of you probably use Atkins. So like with Pic-Time, of course, not all the products of the labs are available in our store, but some that are not available, you can do like custom products. We'll get into that a little bit later on with one of our guests too, I think. So that's Atkins. We do have Momento Pro, that's maybe not this old, but like 15 years in business as well, 15 or 16 even right now. Amazing lab that is also providing albums and boxes. This is a duo that is behind the lab, Jeff and Libby. And what do we have next? We have Celdex, right? Celdex, also from Australia. So these are 3 Australian labs. Celdex, like this is pretty crazy. In Australia, have like really old labs, just like 60 years in business. Amazing business skills, I'd say. And yeah, beautiful products as well. Like what Katrina is showing you right now these are the blog posts about the product. Some of you asked in the chat, can you see what our labs offering, not getting into system? Yes, you can go to blog.pictime.com, and then there is this partners side, like print labs that you can, print labs section that you can check. And the last but not least, we have only one from New Zealand, managed by lovely Vicky and Jim Pollard. So this is the newest lab, and like from all of these 4, but we do all wish them like hundreds of years in business too. So they have amazing products as well, handmade stuff. You can check out blog posts, you can check out the store as well. In terms of if you are in Pic-Time, you can check the products, just how Katrina showed you before.
Yeah, and while we're on that, there's in here. So with the products, they sometimes as Magic was sort of suggesting, explaining that they're not always also named the same. So you can be looking for a product that you, with the lab that you're already familiar with, and you can think, oh, it's not offered, I can't see it. It's not, it's not called the same thing. But the thing is that they have Pic-Time obviously is serviced by a lot of labs globally. So they have their own set of names for products. And if you it's a really good idea to come to this particular article within the help center, which is online. This is all just freely available online, and you can also get to it through your account. I'll just quickly show you. If you come down into this, click this help center icon there, it will bring you here into the help center. And this is a really rich resource. I strongly recommend tapping into this thing a lot. Type in your keywords that you're looking for, and it will take you to where you need to go. And there's, written instructions and, pictures and screen grabs that you can follow along with. It's all really helpful. But in terms, do make a point of coming to this particular article, because you can come down here and you can download this PDF here, which gives you the sort of table of explaining it's called this at this particular lab, and then this is what Pic-Time calls it in the system. So that's just a handy one to know exists and to have on hand. Is it okay if I run through quickly the sales automation stuff?
Yes, please.
All right. So obviously this is something that's really exciting in Pic-Time. This is sort of one of the many things that differentiates it from a lot of the other, you know, sort of straight gallery providers out there. And it's also just really powerful what you can do here. So your sales automations and your campaigns, all the sorts of things like your early bird offers, your abandoned cart, gallery expiration. There's a simple sales system and rolling publish. Let's have a look. I'll open them up so you can actually just see for yourselves that there's a whole sort of menu of these sales apps and automations that you can tap into. This is all just part of the system. It's all built in. There's no sort of, you know, you're not needing to pay to add any of this stuff on. It's just part of the Pic-Time service and the Pic-Time offerings. So lots of different things that you can work with here. And it's worth really digging in, you know, to the education that's available on a lot of these things, so you're getting an idea of what they can achieve and whether or not they're going to work for your business and your clients, because, you know, you're never going to have all of these things set up running at once, I wouldn't imagine. Stand to be corrected, but, you know, you want to figure out what's going to fit into your workflow and what's going to work best for you in terms of helping to generate sales and all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely something that you're going to want to have a look into. And on that note, you can I definitely don't forget that the Pic-Time YouTube channel exists. And again, this is another really rich resource. Go tap into this, you know, have a flick around, lots of videos, you know, some really in-depth ones that show you how things work sort of step by step. And obviously like tonight's webinar that will also go onto the YouTube channel. Yeah, you come in here and you can find out all sorts of things and get a little bit of hand holding too in terms of, yeah, watching the step-by-step of what can be done. So with one of the cool things with the sales apps and automations, obviously when you're setting these up, they come with their own sort of workflow as such. And a part of that process, this is a gallery by Janine, who was here tonight, I believe, from White Salt, is that you can set up these banners, these promotional banners, and you can turn, I think there are, I don't know, what are there, 5 or 6 different options maybe. So you can choose to have, you know, just 1 or 2 on, or you can go hell for leather and put them all on. But you can come in here and in the back end of the system, I should say, and you can customize these. So you can often add, you know, your own colors. You can choose between a couple of the fonts that are available. You can add in, some of these have videos in them, which is pretty cool as well. And you can also, they've got these in-gallery ones, which this is my personal favorite. It does the countdown timer. So for whatever time you set your promo to run, this will, you know, it literally is counting down in front of your clients. So that sort of creates that sense of urgency and can help, yeah, prompt them into putting their order in quick, smart. I think that is possibly all I needed to show at this point, Magic.
Yes, yeah. Love it. Thank you very much for that. Wait, can we have your screen?
Yeah.
Stopped for a second. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much. That was awesome. Like you gave us a like little sneak peek into the possibilities of the Pic-Time. And now actually, I see that there's a lot of questions popping. We do have guys from the support answering these. Some of them that we will see that are relevant to bring on screen. We will add here, but most of them will be answered in the chat or in a Q&A section if you use Q&A section. But we're up to next thing. We do have a schedule for this webinar because we don't want to hold you for a whole night tonight. And we have a couple of guests coming, but actually the first guest is you, Katrina. You gave us demo. So you showed us what is the system, but my question is, how do you use the system?
Well, I actually get in there, and I've played around with a handful of the different apps and automations. Certainly, the easiest one to get stuck into initially is always the coupons. So I've used them for shipping, so free shipping. I've done, sort of straight free shipping, or I've done that I could do free shipping, on orders up to, a certain amount, so that you are covering, you're not getting a $10, $20, $50 order through and then paying your shipping on top of that. I've used the simple sales system, which is amazing. That's a whole thing in and of itself. And definitely anyone that's curious about that, I would go and check the YouTube channel for the webinar that you guys
the webinar. Yeah, the simple sales system is massive, and it's like it's successful as no other. I would say there's like tons of successes in Pic-Time with different systems, but simple sales system is just like next level. For those of you who'll be interested, we will have guests actually talking about simple sales as well. So that's interesting. So you use simple systems for your business, right?
Yeah, I certainly have done so.
And which labs, because there was a question in the chat, which labs are you using with your account?
Yep, so I'm in Melbourne, so I do use I use Celdex a lot because they're my local lab, so I can actually physically go to them and touch the products and all that sort of stuff.
That's always nice.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. And I've also fulfilled with Atkins. They're amazing as well. And I've bought products before from Memento Pro. So I've used all of the labs that we have available in Australia, and can't speak high enough of all of them. They're all excellent providers. So no issues there. You're not having any trouble finding some decent suppliers.
And you were talking about the coupons. Is that because like you can in Pic-Time you can also do the templates, right? Have you used some of these, or do you have like some maybe business ideas, like for this type of stuff I add this automations, but for this type of stuff I use this automations? Do you have like certain ideas like that for your business?
Yeah, for different shoots. Yeah, for sure. Like you can, I guess, with your I've done some like bulk work in terms of I did one of my kids' daycare center. So that was a really new experience for me. I haven't done that before, and setting up setting up a free group photo with any sort of print order. That was something that I did, great success. And also just in terms of being a sole provider and doing something like that where you've got a lot of people placing orders, that really could have gone to hell in a handbasket sort of thing. That could have been a real mess. But setting it all up in the back end in Pic-Time with my emails and having them fire off when I need to, because I didn't explain, but with the different automations, you can set them up. They fire off an introductory sort of email, announcement email, and then you can set it up to send reminders. So you can send it when there's 7 days left, or 3 days left, or 1 day left, or all of them. If you're wanting to really stay top of mind, you can do that as well. So that has been, super handy in that way, and really easy to set up, and also so handy that all this stuff, like when you're setting up your emails, they auto-generate with copy straight away. So you're actually not having to start from scratch. You've got, you can use what's there as it is. For the most part, you'd probably be wise to get in there and, add your own brand voice in there and tweak things to suit. But you're not stuck, staring at a blank screen, wondering what to write or how to word it. You're that prompt, which is super handy.
Yeah, and especially I think with all these automations, it's really worth setting this up like right now in between the seasons. Before like I'm guessing right now is like the time that you guys are mostly at home, sitting at the computers. While when the season finally starts, it might be massive. It might be an accumulation of work, on top of each other, like stuff that got postponed and stuff. So it's really good time right now to set things up, like write those emails. So later on, when you deliver gallery, like from back-to-back weddings from Friday, you can just click one button and just be like, add this automation, and it starts. Like also maybe worth like maybe exploring more these automations, how that like the whole idea behind the automations, and there's tons of them, and there are some that will fit your business, right? Not all of them will fit everyone. So that is why, you know, going through them right now might be a good idea to see, hey, does this work for me? Maybe this will work for me? There are like apps like that do like pre-registration to the gallery, that you might do, I don't know, iPad on the entrance of the wedding venue, so people can just type their address, email, so they get notified about the gallery, stuff like that. That will, I guess, work for some of you guys. And then different stuff like simple sales system, or even like super simple stuff. Like one of my favorites, and I know one of Amir, Pic-Time co-founder's favorites, free incentive app. So that he recommends adding to every single gallery. So that's the app that will give your clients coupon for like 3 free prints, which is sort of, you know, nothing for you as a photographer. You know, you're just, that's not a cost for you to give your clients 3 free prints, but then it will get them in the store. Like
That's
definitely
right.
if they see, yeah, especially doing this upon receiving the gallery. I don't know how about your clients, but mine are pretty excited when they receive gallery. They you know, they want to see their images. They're hyped about their images, and they're like, oh my God, this is beautiful, this is beautiful, this is beautiful. And then bam, mail like, hey, 3 free prints on me from Magic, from your boy. And they're like, oh my God, 3 free prints. And they, you know, they usually go for more than 3. So it's actually a very good app for the starters if you don't want to do the more complex ones. There's like tons of them. So I'm glad you mentioned simple sales, and I'm glad we're going to talk about some of these with the guests as well. Do you have like maybe for the last before we go to the next guest, do you have like maybe some one tip like for some photographers out there, what to do during this time, or I don't know, anything that you want to add?
Well, before I get into that, I want to say, just as you mentioned with the apps, the cool thing is, like you were saying, you get in there and you set it up and you save it, you know, and you can just turn that on as you need it. You know, like you don't have to be redoing this every single time. It sits there in the system for you. And you can go into individual galleries and assign these things as you need them. Or really cool thing that would be great to do now or anytime would be, you know, when you're doing these like a seasonal campaign. So if you're doing something, obviously, Christmas be coming up, or Black Friday, you know, Mother's Day, any of that sort of stuff, you can create a campaign well in advance and have it ready to go. And come the time, you can actually open up that campaign and you can turn it on. And in one screen, you can literally just select every single gallery that you want that promotion to go to, and it will. So you can be doing this sort of en masse to your chosen clients and chosen galleries as you go. So it's amazing. It's very powerful in that regard.
Love it. Love it. Thanks so much for your input and for sharing your ideas and how to use Pic-Time. Stay with me. You are my co-host for whole evening, and I will bring on stage our next guest, who is, I see him already, Sai Moore from New Zealand. Hello, Sai. Good evening.
Hey, how you going, my very fine friend?
We are doing very well here, and now we're doing even better with you. So just to give like a brief introduction, you are the ugly part of a duo, Bailey and Moore.
Bailey and Moore,
correct?
Bailey and Moore. Come on, no, Bailey and Moore. Yeah, and yeah, we, you know, like everyone doing the game, we
doing the game. So wedding photography mostly, but I do recognize you also as I would say, like, because that might be a good bridge for you to get onto your things. I'd say you are an artist. You do like a lot of art stuff, and you do a lot of stuff for yourself, like a personal work as well. And for us wedding photographers, who most of us started like probably with idea of like, hey, photography, we like photography. Photography is our hobby. We maybe would like to be an artist. We dream about being an artist and having our photos in the galleries as well. And then we kind of get into wedding photography that is, you know, on the verge of business and art, and sometimes very hard navigating that space. But you seem to be doing that pretty well. And Mike is now yours, please.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the art, this literally Pic-Time lives in the intersection of art and commerce, right? Which is the how can you do what you love and make some monies easily at the same time. I think that one of the things that Sophie and I hear all the time in workshops from people who are, you know, trying to figure out how to make Pic-Time work better for them as a selling tool is, it's like, you know, they set up their they set up a store, they, you know, they pick a lab, they build the whole thing, and they sell every possible product they can, and then they, you know, hit all the promos, and they're like, cool, let's go. And sometimes and nothing happens. And I think it's really essential to realize that you, like with Pic-Time, you've got this loaded gun at your, you know, this incredible selling tool, like right at your fingers. But you need to understand your own sales funnel. You need to understand how you, you know, what your couples like. You know, generally in this game, most people are shooting a certain kind of people who are like themselves. You know, most people aren't shooting this massive wide range of people. They're shooting a bunch of people who love the same stuff that you love and will probably buy the same stuff that you love. So kind of, if you can figure out what the keys are to how your couples work and how your sales funnel work, this thing will work so much better for you. Essentially realizing, you know, what your couples are into, the kind of products that they love, you know, how you talk to them about those products, not just letting Pic-Time do the heavy lifting, but realizing that, you know, from the first moment, like when we meet our couples, from the first moment, we're just like, this is a two-stage game. We will capture the experience, and then we'll help you to make some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the start, we're talking about making stuff.
So you're planting that seed.
Yeah, we're talking about like the idea of real things, the idea of like, you know, the idea that the next stage for them after they've, you know, had this experience and we've captured it is going to be then taking this stuff and making something. So then when they get prompts in the gallery, then when, you know, when you've got a banner that like pushes them to a certain thing, then when you, you know, when like free prints straight off the bat when you deliver a gallery, get people addicted to real things. That, you know, gosh, it's the kid in the candy store, boom, you know, like I'm going to order some things, tell you what, I'm ordering a whole bunch of stuff, and the stuff arrives, and they're just like, getting stuff is great, you know. Like you want to figure out how your couples work. Now, there are some couples who will totally be a fully automated couple who will roll through this process, and anything that you feed them, you know, they'll just be like, I'm having that, I'm getting this, I'm doing this. And there will be other couples who you need to hold their hand, you know. It's realizing that you like a Pic-Time store is an extension of your brand. Your couple does not see Pic-Time, they see you. And this is a tool that's an extension of your world. And if you can figure out how to use it in your brand and walk them through it and bring them through it, they'll be like, you're someone I trust. I trust this platform. All the prompts that they're getting, you know, they feel like come from you. Like you build this thing. So understanding your own sales funnel is absolutely the key to go from like I've already seen in the chat, there's heaps of people who are like, hey, I've set this up, I do this, you know, and I'm getting like 1 hit out of 10 from people buying stuff, or 2 hits out of 10, or whatever. It's like, stop and have a look at how your couples work, at the stuff that they're interested in. You know, it's even like you see some people with some really successful stores who sell one thing. They do one thing. They just go, my brand, the stuff that I do, the way that I shoot, it looks really good in this way. And that's not necessarily them saying their work looks good in that way. It's them saying, I figured out that my couples get overwhelmed. And when they've got 1 option to buy or 3 options to buy, this handful of things, they come in and they go, boom, I'll take that. I mean, if you imagine how you operate when you walk into a store, into a department store, or you're at a buffet, and it's all good, but you're just like, I want one thing. I want boiled eggs, or I want this thing, or I want, it's exactly the same experience. So I think, realizing that all this stuff is at your fingertips, you have to come back and say, how do my couples work? How do they operate? What's the process? At what stage do you prep them for selling? As opposed to just you deliver the gallery, you set it up to just hit them with all the messaging and you hope that they're going to buy. Nah, it's literally just like figuring out how your sales funnel works and how it works with your brand. There's a heap of sorry, I'm just gonna you can't even get a word in here. I'm just like cranking. I think if you jump into a bunch of the educator stuff around how different people like use this, it's really easy to like jump in and be honing through looking for problem solving things when you can't figure out how to see something through. Have a look at actually how, for example, like India, like how her sales funnel works, how she like brings her clients through the idea of making things, and of not just we shot this stuff and now this platform's going to take care of like, doing the making for you. Like hold the hand all the way through, prompt people. Like it's 100% an extension of your brand and how you sell, not just this magical thing that's going to like, make magic for you. If you want to up your conversions, understand how your sales funnel works, and if you want to understand your sales funnel, like describe to someone else, here's how it works. And they'll be like, what are you talking about? I think that is that's the absolute key in making this work for you, is understanding how your couples work and how they roll through that.
I'm not stopping you yet. I have one question for you. It's like I do think you seem like a person who does believe in a power of a print, like touching the physical thing. When we met, like 2 years ago, you were hanging out with the prints in a pocket. I have those prints here in my office, somewhere here, along with a map of New Zealand. When I visited Vicky and Jim Pollard back a few years ago as well. I'm saying hi to them if they're here watching us, by the way. But that is something that I have never seen before. Someone who has prints in the pockets.
Yeah, I would go, and this is probably an extreme thing, I'd go as far to say that if your house isn't full of prints, you're probably not going to sell a lot of prints. Like you honestly really have to love it and believe it. Like you have to show up. When you show up at a first client meeting, have stuff for people to look at. And it doesn't even have to be stuff that like, here, this is what I want to sell to you. It just has to be stuff. People like love to like touch things and look at things and hold things. And, we give couples at a first meeting, a little takeaway, little book to hang on to, to look at, and there's prints and there's stuff hanging around, and you realize that like, no, they don't care what's coming out of your mouth, because they're sitting there right, looking at the actual things, and the job's done, and at that stage, they know that they want to make something. So when they roll through this whole process of having a gallery delivered, they see they can pick a handful of prints, a handful of free prints, and they start to get the prompts. Whatever you set up, especially like on the banner front, like whatever you set up that is appropriate for your brand and for your kind of couples, when they get that prompt, they're like, we've been told that it would go like this, and now it goes like this. It's like you get your fries at McDonald's and someone said to you, there'll be ketchup, and when the ketchup shows up, you're like, hell yeah. That's a terrible analogy, but you know what I'm saying. I know that you're probably going to be like, dude, you're out of time, but like lab stuff is a key. The lab thing is a really super key thing. Building a good relationship with your lab, like in our part of the world. So what we've got, like Atkins Pimento Celdex in Australia, Trig Point in New Zealand is our go-to. The lab does not just exist as a drop-down menu, like in Pic-Time. The lab is real, with real people making real stuff. Back your lab.
Did we lost Simon? Sorry.
She sees the stuff that they
You're
make.
back.
Yo, no, I'm still here. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost you for 1 second. And We were scared to death.
That second would have been essential to like back your lab, pick a lab, know the people, go visit them, get some samples. I mean, some of them might offer free samples in Pic-Time, or you can just order some samples at cost, and get to know the people like at your lab. Like we know Jim and Vicky really well. We know the Atkins crew really well. Like there are some pretty kick-ass labs in our part of the world. But the whole reason is like just have a long-term relationship like with your lab, because at some stage there will be a problem, and you want to know each other. You'll kook something, you'll kook a file, you'll have your stuff. There'll be whatever it's and you'll be calling lab being like, please help me to fix this problem. And they will have your back. They will help you out. But also understanding how your work prints, oh my goodness, is essential. Getting feedback from a lab to be like, hey, dude, your stuff's not printing that well. Can we offer you some advice? You want a relationship where you can be churning out the most beautiful stuff that shows up on paper and is kick-ass. And I think having a good relationship with your lab is the number one thing.
Love it. Love it. Thanks so much for sharing all of these. And of course, here goes our 5 minutes per guest. Thanks to your brain. But yeah, I didn't want to stop you because like sharing that stuff is very crucial to the community. I think that like you left some bombs here today, and give it up to the Sai in the chat. Let us know if you enjoyed the tips that he shared with us. And Sai, we'll have you back for the panel in a few minutes when we wrap up the round of guests. So thank you so much for now, and we'll see you in one
tip
from Sai.
Dig into the educators section, like dig hard into the educators section, like on Pic-Time, and you're gonna and don't just be there to try and solve your own problems. Just have a roam, have a good time. You'll find some stuff there that really changes how you think about what you're doing with the sales funnel.
So sorry, when you say educator section, what do you mean? Do you mean in the automation, like the videos
basically. And there's a pretty massive range of different stuff going on in there. And I think it'll help you to understand how different people have different kinds of sales funnels and how it works for them. Everyone who's doing well in that game understands how that sales funnel works. Yeah.
So for
cool. I'll shut up.
in the setting, like in the back end of Pic-Time, when you automation, that menu area that I showed you, so Sai's talking about, you can click into each particular one. Most of them have been designed by photographers, and they're it gives you a visual sort of timeline of how the workflow of how that particular system works. And then there's a video to accompany it as well, so explaining the theory behind it and stuff. So that's all there in the system as well as in the YouTube as well. So good tip.
Yep. Thanks so much, Sai. And thanks so much, Katrina, also for expanding this. I'll have Trish on stage right now. Trish, hello. Wait, can I see you? Wait, I'll need you 1 second. I'll just add you here. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
We are very good, and we are very happy to have you here as well.
Nice to meet you.
We don't know each other, so my name is Magic. Hello, nice to meet you.
Cool name.
As far as I know, you are. I have my notes here as well, but I did peek at your website, and I did do like a little digging as well. You do family and weddings, but you also do editorial stuff. At first, I found your other website. You have like 2 websites, but then I found the correct one with weddings and families, because this is a kind of topic that we are into today. And while looking at this, I was actually really interested in like, what is your take on Pic-Time and how you use it for the type of work that you actually do. So if you could share with us some of the stuff that you used, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so with my weddings, I feel like it's quite a straightforward process with Pic-Time. I fell in love with Pic-Time because I saw it. I'm like, oh wow, that website is like built for my brand and my aesthetic. So I just fell in love with it many years ago, and I haven't looked back since. And then once all those automations and everything came about, my mind was blown. I think I started my business almost 14, 15 years ago now, and I didn't have to do all that kind of marketing the way marketing is now. So yeah, thank you, Pic-Time, for making it possible to still be around. Um, in terms of weddings, I actually spoke to Aga in preparing for this webinar, and I realized I was actually using one app when I could have been using another app. So the app that I will talk about is the Rolling Publish app. And I find that amazing because I actually, just in terms of my own workflow and how I kind of work fast, I edit quickly, I just kind of want to get everything done and then I can play again later. And the Rolling Publish app is made for the way I do my business. So that's weddings. I kind of allow that slideshow at the very beginning. So I've edited all my photos already. The first thing they get to see is a slideshow. And then that, because of the music and the emotion and just the way it carries them back to their day, that's often shared with their, at least with their immediate bridal party and often their guests as well. And then from there, I use it as a tool for their selection, to create their albums as well. I retain the album creation process. I enjoy that. I know some people like, but I know I really do enjoy that. And yeah, so from the automation point of view, I think it's just really wonderful that Pic-Time has been able to do all that. I will talk also on the family side of things because I feel like that's where I have kind of experimented a bit more and try to figure out what really works for me. I feel in a way I might have mangled the system a little bit, but I use say 90% of the simple sales system. I agree totally with the psychology of it all. I love the way everything's set up, and I kind of take it to the point of I basically don't drop ship everything from the system itself. So from the get-go, my family clients know how much it is to book me, and they know my 3 packages. So I really love print. I try and make that known through my own just personal work and also through what I show on my Instagram and all that kind of social stuff. So my 3 packages are, they all include a print product. So a print, like, it'll be digitals plus a box of prints. Digitals, that would be the first collection. The second collection is digitals plus frames. And the third collection is digitals plus an album. But yeah, so so I've kind of defined that in the options that are available for them to see. Sorry, I know some people don't even know about the simple sales system just as yet. But
yeah.
Yeah, so keep going. All right.
Go. Yeah.
So essentially, with the simple sales system, you've photographed your client, and they're waiting to see all their images, and the first thing they see is this beautiful slideshow. And from there, they then have a certain time period of your choosing to then select their collection. So with the way that I do mine, I make sure that my clients are educated on what they can choose, and at the end of the day, they will be choosing one of 3 collections that I know and love and have kind of curated already for them.
Yeah, I think this is like the base principle also of simple sales system, that the clients know upfront that they pay for the session, but then they have to pick collection as well and what their collections are, etc. So yeah.
And their full gallery won't open until they've made that purchase of one of their collections. So they know
and
that
all the watermarks are still there and all that kind of stuff because you haven't actually accepted that payment yet until that's done. And what I love, I think, about doing it that way, in my kind of truncated way, I guess, is that I can still retain control over being able to do my branding, to package things, to add my little thank you note, sometimes a little gift. I'm still back in that era. And also, you know, for me, especially with reels and all that kind of stuff, when I get products sent to me, I get to take video of it, reels of it, photos of it, and then I get to populate my feed with it in the way that I can control. And I find that really, if you wanted like one tip to take away, that you really need to show product to your clientele for them to want to buy it, especially if you're doing something where they're not coming in and they're not seeing everything like in person and being able to touch and feel it. Like you're just starting that education process from like way back when they're just starting to see your work or just starting to hear about you, that, oh, I want that, how do I get that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So, and you say you are like making your own packages, like physical things. So you order stuff to your, like, do you do like fully automated stuff? Do you do like half automated that it comes to you? So they order for Pic-Time, or do you order yourself?
So I get
Because
them
I know
to make
like you have options with Pic-Time. That's the power of Pic-Time. You can do like anything. You can have it shipped to your client. You can have it shipped to your house, or you can order it yourself as well.
Yes.
Right.
So it would depend. It sometimes depends on where they live. I might also place the order through Pic-Time anyway, so that it drop ships to them. On like the larger frames where I'm just like, I can't try and repackage that myself kind of thing. But for most of the time, for like the little prints, I use Atkins, and I absolutely love Atkins. I feel like I've been spoiled, and that's part of the reason why I do it this way as well. So there's like, you know, my wedding clients would get like a box, the little print package for family ones. With my frames, so what Atkins offers, and again, speaking to the self-fulfill part of things, is that you can't always get, can you see that? You can't always get everything that you want through Pic-Time just yet, but you can still offer it and still allow your clients to see it. So I've got these float frames as part of my kind of display collection, or my second collection, and people just kind of fall in love with it. It's something that's different. It's something that, you know, I kind of gravitated my pricing towards them having one of these at the end of the day. And yeah, it's just something that I find I love, and I want them to also have and love as well. Yeah.
Yes. Amazing. Like that's exactly what, like I remember that you before saying about like some print labs doesn't offer everything, that you're going to talk about it. I didn't know that you're going to show it, so thanks so much for showing it as well. Like in the system, what is fun as well in the system is that you can, when you make a custom product, you can also do like the piece, like select the part of the, so you take a photo of the product, like a custom product. It can be anything. It could be a Lego thing with a, you know, frame on it. Take a picture of this, and then, you know, you mark it, the piece of the image that is about to get that has a picture on it, and then it auto populates these your photos with the photos from the gallery, which is like mind-blowing, next level crazy stuff. So that is amazing. So I'm guessing like with those float prints, you have it in the store as well, like photographs by yourself.
So that they can see it. And it's also kind of upfront in all my like my PDFs and my guides to my clients as well, because I just love them so much. So
you do educate your clients on every possible you know, way. So are you talking to them? You're sending them PDFs, brochures as well. I think like that's exactly what Sai also mentioned, and how important it is on the way to get that communication, and then possibly showing your photos, like in your aesthetics, in your style of the products that you are offering. Is like also like next level game with clients, seeing that, this exactly like when you said that when you saw Pic-Time, it was like you felt that this is brand for you. I could tell that, like going to your website, I was like, it looks like Pic-Time Gallery. It's just like so clean, minimalistic. So yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much, Trish. Unless you have something you want to add for like before we get to the next person. Or you feel good?
I'll let you keep going and come back at the panel later. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will have you in the panel soon. Give it to the Trish in the chat. Lovely conversation. Thanks so much. Wait, let's go. The next person we'll have, I'm going to invite to the stage, is going to be Rick Liston. Wait, again, we have you on the screen. I have to do a few clicks.
I think we're both clicking start video and stop video at the same time.
Possibly.
You go.
But I go. Okay. And then
just quick while you're doing that, I think,
and then
let the audience know that what you were just talking about with the having the smart store pop your images into self-fulfill products. That's called a custom product tile. So if anyone wants to find out more about that, go to the knowledge base that we showed you and type in custom product tile, and it'll give you step-by-step instructions on how you can set that up for your own self-fulfill products if you're interested.
Awesome. Yes, thanks for that. I'm so bad with the naming, and like I lose words. I still think I'm from Poland. My English is not my first language, but yeah. Rick, hello, Rick. Nice to meet you. My name is Magic. Like I'm obsessed. Like I saw your website. I'm obsessed with the GIF with the champagnes. It's so good. And then
how I'm rolling every day, man. Just flat out. 2 champagne bottles.
And then Aga told
down
me
here
that you shoot 100 weddings a year.
Yeah. So look,
and you do 100 just because you cannot physically do more.
After that, look, after that, that's about my comfortable level. But that's only because I've got a great system of automation and outsourcing going on, of which Pic-Time is a big part of that. But I like to still, I mean, I've got 4 months blocked off next year. So, but I mean, 100 days of the year, there's 365 days in the year. So it's actually not that much. I shoot at 8 hours at a wedding, so it's there's hospo staff that work twice as much. So it's not that big once you've got a good workflow in place.
Yeah, I guess like workflow is like the crucial point of this like whole making like a big business out of it, because like can I like I'm guessing you are a businessman. Would you say that's correct? Like you think about your wedding photography as a big business, you want to grow it, you want to have it sustainable and so on. My question is, how does where Pic-Time lies in your workflow then? Like are you new to Pic-Time, or have you been using it for a longer while? Can you tell us something about it?
Yeah, mate, no, using it for a couple of years now. And you're absolutely right. I'd certainly resonate more with my wedding photography being a business rather than me being an artist. That's actually not something I've ever really kind of related to. There's some killer artists in here, man. Joel, Sai, absolute legends. So I feel like I'm more just like a business guy that just happens to, I don't know, take photos. But so that's why I'm kind of so blessed to do it, because it's such a rad job when I can. Anyway, I don't talk too much about the weddings. Obviously, here to talk Pic-Time, but yeah, look, man, a big part of Pic-Time is just that post-wedding workflow. So for me, I feel like I'm at a really comfortable level of the amount of weddings that I'm shooting and the price that I'm shooting at. So in order to generate more income, it's basically how can I get more revenue from each one of those weddings. And so Pic-Time comes in that post-wedding workflow for me. And what I love so much about it is just how automated it can be. So when you're shooting a high volume of weddings, anything that you can automate is just going to save you a ton of time. Because if you have to do an additional hour of work on something, then that's suddenly 100 extra hours a year when you're shooting that many weddings. So setting up something that I know I'm going to take care of my clients, kind of basically walking them through all this process. There's amazing things that they have on offer, hitting them at the right time of their journey with different things that they're going to want in a safe way. It's actually a lot safer having an automated system than me doing it myself, because I'm actually really bad at that stuff. So that's why I'm also so reliable on automation. That it's there for me, looking after myself, looking after my couples, and therefore looking after my family.
And my question is, because like hearing this, you're saying like Pic-Time can hit you with this, can do this. Like I'm guessing you are not using just one app.
No, mate. No. And in fact, I'm using stuff that you guys don't even programmed, and I'm having to hack my way through it because it's awesome. There's honestly so much potential in here, and I'll run you through a little bit about what I'm using. So I like to do basically a gift registry email kind of 6 months before a wedding date. I'll send a gallery to a couple and I'll have my own little custom picture on there. It's not a picture of the couple. It's just a picture that's got a nice gift registry option, and then a sample, basically just a photo saying like example photo, because I know that's going to populate into all the products. And what I'm going to get them to do is to add that link to the gallery to their gift registry. So this does a couple of things. So in Australia, I don't know about those cheap bastards in New Zealand, but in Australia, when you go to a wedding, you usually want to be contributing a gift, something around the value that couple is going to be paying for your wedding meal. So somewhere around $200. So if you're able to provide, these 150 guests that are going to this wedding with an opportunity to spend that $200 on something that they're going to be able to love, appreciate, put in their homes, send good vibes out of their wedding day every single day, give that to them as a gift rather than just the cash in the envelope. Man, that's a great opportunity to be making a ton of money before the wedding day even kicks off, before you've taken a single photo. So that's just a little gift registry gallery opening up. So that's not like an app, but I just kind of hacked that through using the digital gift card. Then after I send the previews, thank you cards. That's another thing that I know every couple is going to have to order. So I would love them to do it through me. I can really make that process a lot easier for them as well by sending them a pre-designed thank you card. Here's the design. This looks great. You can just go ahead and order however many you need right now, because I know that's something they're going to have to do. So I'll do that after I've sent them the previews, but before they've got their full gallery. And that's just one tick off their to-do list that they can do. And it's just more money on the table for me, and I don't have to do a damn thing. Rolling publish I use, which we've always already discussed. Early bird, I think we've discussed as well. So it's just a great, 20% off incentive. I combine that with a print incentive. So it just really gives them no opportunity to not go in there. Like, they are losing money if they're not going in, spending that money, getting that value. And then obviously the expiring kind of 20% off early bird deal is a really, really great way for them to want to actually get it through. And you combine that with an abandoned cart. We're just not leaving any opportunity to not kind of get something from your store. What I also love about that first gift registry thing is that's when I'm getting people to register so they're going to be getting these emails for the early bird. So this is 6 months before the wedding day. This is how I'm collecting them. And then after, I'm sending out my sneak peeks, which basically go out the 24 hours after the wedding. I do that on my own website rather than in the Pic-Time, because I want everyone at the wedding who's just seen me in action. I want them on my website. It's great for SEO. I've got blog content in there contributed by the couple, so they're reading all that. They've got access to my site and everything. And then I've got a little pre-registration link for the gallery there as well. So just as many opportunities as I can to give everyone the link to the gallery. Album sale discounts and pre-designed album discount of that. So that's after the full gallery goes out, obviously, and after the early bird has expired. I know this sounds like a lot, but because it's like goes out at different times, it's actually not that bad. You got your anniversary email 1 year later, sending out a month beforehand. This is just something that would really work with me. If I was the groom, I would love that. I'm definitely a last minute kind of a guy. So this would be like, yes, saved. Thank you very much. And then finally, gallery expiration. So 24 months after the wedding, if they would like to continue having their high-res images on the Pic-Time server, then they can pay for that privilege, basically. And that gallery expiration is also tied in with a final 20% off promo.
Oh man, I love how you say you drop some personal stuff. Like, I'm really bad at just remembering stuff, and I'm really bad at those emails and so on. And then you drop those bombs like you are a machine, like cracking the system. Like, I do this like that. This is amazing, Rick. I love it. You are really using the system in a way that works for you, and I think that's also the power of finding your way in. Not for everyone it will work this way. But for your business, for the way you run your business. And I love what you said about this, that it seems like a lot, but it's spread in a whole year, even more than a year, because then it's half year before.
The 6 months before, correct, until 2 years after.
Starts. Then the wedding. So then there's some sort of promotion during when you deliver the wedding, and then a few months later on. So it's not that much actually. And also I know that you've been using Atkins, and you've set some custom products as well, right?
That's right. So obviously Atkins have an amazing range of stuff that I'd love to be able to offer my couples. And because you've actually got that ability, which Katrina touched on, to have images from their gallery populate into images that we can upload, it really fits in super seamlessly. So, and even like, you've got beautiful matted frames, but if you wanted to offer some of the other, frame choices, then you can, or, frame sizes that come native to Atkins, then you can certainly do that. But they got some great calendars, some great wall art options that and actually their albums as well. And when you do a custom album, then it also means you can also do the custom engraving, so you're not kind of limited to the Pic-Time options, which is something that I like to do as well.
Yeah, I know from. Sorry.
Yeah. Just going to quickly ask Rick, are you designing outside of Pic-Time and then dropping your spreads into the designer, like using the Pic-Time album proofer, anything like that, or sending the album as a finished product? Or how are you doing that part of it?
Yeah, so designing outside, and I'd actually do that. My VA, it's the process that my VA worked through. So everyone gets an album design, and my VA is able to work with them for their revisions, because I'd much rather spend my time shooting weddings. That's my big ticket item. That's something that I can know I'm getting paid a lot for. And then this is something, I'm not really an album designer, so I'd rather somebody who is and can work on generating that income while I'm off shooting weddings or spending time with my daughter, to be honest.
I want to add, because I know from the like little interview you had with Aga before, that you like the custom products that you have, like you made like a quite big of a thing out of it, and you said that you want to, like, in the future you want to offer this to the photographers as well. So man, we have photographers here from Australia. Can you just talk to us about it a little bit? Just share what's the deal here.
Well, basically, yeah. I mean, so much of what we have to do with photographers is kind of reinventing the wheel. So I have got to set up all my Atkins products in my lab. You've got to set up all your Atkins products. Anyone else that wants to use Atkins products has to kind of go through and set up the same thing. We're using similar photos of all the frame options, writing what they are, uploading that as a form. If you don't want to do that and you want that all done for, if you want all of the custom Atkins products that they have put into your web store, basically your Pic-Time store, and don't want to have to do that all yourself, then that's something we can do for you. And also, if you like the sound of my workflow, we can install that for you as well, because it is quite a bit of work putting all these little things together. I know I ran through it pretty quickly, but getting all the little emails right, I don't know, like as you'll see when you start to work through your own automations, it's a bit of a system. But I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for anyone else, because I know how much time and effort I've put into it. So if I can save you that time and effort, then I'll certainly like to do that for you.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Rick. That was amazing. Like, I cannot wait to have you in the panel soon, so stay with us for that time. But thank you again. Like, give it up to the Rick in the chat. He'll be hanging out with us in the chat as well, so he might answer some of the chat questions, maybe, possibly. And the next, I have to check. The next up we have Cate. So thanks again, Rick. See you soon. Wait, I need to find. Do I have Cate here? How good was that, huh, Katrina?
Yeah, amazing. It's super impressive, that whole system that Rick's got set up, and clearly the thought process of that that has just been clearly ironed out and perfected in that whole system. And I think, obviously, particularly if you're a wedding photographer and using Pic-Time, I'd be getting in contact with Rick to suss that out, because that is going to save a lot of brain power, really, if someone else has already gone through and done it, and not just someone else who clearly has a very solid grasp on it. You'd be wise to tap into that.
Exactly. Yeah. Hello. Hey, Cate.
Hey.
How's it going? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
You guys know each other, I guess. So I know that.
Yeah.
So maybe Katrina, can you introduce Cate in your own way?
Oh, Cate. Cate's amazing. Cate's a New Zealand, like family pet portraiture, all those things. You do. You tell us, Cate. Don't let me ruin it.
Yeah, just families, pets, and equine and equestrian sports. Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it. And you've been doing like animals, right? Pets. You said it's your thing. You have horses. Is that correct?
I do. Yes.
Okay. I'm guessing like the stuff that you do is very much connected with you yourself. How what you are, how do you like spending your time? So can you talk about a little bit about your photography, and then how does Pic-Time, work in your business? Yeah.
Well, funny you bring up horses, because I have a little bit of a reputation for not being fond of people, even though I photograph people. And I'm also saving up for a very, very expensive fourth horse. So that's where Pic-Time really helps me, because it does the selling and I count the money. So I guess I kind of belly flopped into Pic-Time. I had been using another gallery just for client image delivery. Through knowing Katrina, sort of she kept mentioning it. So I'm glad you did too. So a rainy weekend before we went into New Zealand, went into lockdown, so that was 4 weeks ago. I decided to delve into it. So I spent a whole weekend. My husband was really mad because he didn't see me. I was in the office the entire weekend. And I just really gave it a really good run, with the idea that I was going to use it to market back to my past clients.
Mm-hmm.
So, Christmas, Father's Day, because I don't run promotions on those things. So that was the idea behind it. When we went into lockdown, I had this great idea that I was going to import all my galleries into Pic-Time and run a gallery migration, and see if I could earn some money. And I did. It was quite successful. So that was good, because it's kind of a bit of money for jam over, COVID, where ordinarily I couldn't work. So that was really good. Then I kind of went one step further, and because of my reputation, I don't do in-person sales in person. I do them over Zoom. So, and I have a particular way that I like to do that, because people aren't coming into my space and seeing artwork on the wall and seeing examples. So I've found a way through my slideshows to be able to show the clients, what their artwork would look like. So design that up for them. So I started to look at how Pic-Time could work with my workflow. And I actually couldn't believe it just all fit beautifully. Exactly. It was like Pic-Time was built for my workflow. Wasn't it, Katrina? It really, yeah. And then I thought, right, it's time to, and Katrina kept saying to me about the simple sales system. And I was like, no, I still do like that control over being on Zoom and having control over my sales. So I have, though, done some of those, and my sales have been consistent. I am doing a set amount of sales this way, just to test the data and see what the numbers are like, and whether or not I'll continue doing it that way or not. I'm not sure, but definitely the gallery migration, that was amazing. That was a really, really cool. And definitely setting it up for future promotions to promote back to those past clients.
That's actually really amazing to hear, that you are quite new to Pic-Time, but already it made you a profit, like A, from the gallery migration, B, from the simple sales, like you say, consistent profits. I'm guessing that's something that, like you said, you have to work on it to see how does that work fit your space. But like for those of you who are new to Pic-Time, this like really amazing way to start off, like load your old photos if you've been in the business for some time, and there is this app that like sends promotion to all these old galleries, being like, hey, welcome to your new home. I think that's the pre-designed template for this. Of course, you can have your own voice, own brand. I wonder, do you do that? Like when you did that, like how did you write your own emails to the clients, being like, I know it's been years, like what was the key for this to be successful? Because that's also like something that has to be planned?
So you're saying, how did I communicate the gallery migration? So I actually used the email that was actually in the system, which was really, really good, where it sort of says, guess what? We've changed platforms and your images have a new home. And I thought that was really good. I mean, I did make it sort of Cate-ified, if you like, sort of more the way I speak, but basically that's the angle I came at.
Love it. And did you use one of the automated labs, or did you do self-automated stuff?
No, I always do self-fulfilled. So I have my own lab here and I go to them for everything. They're brilliant, literally.
So you did made a store with the products from the lab that is not in a system, which also is something amazing that you can do that and add the products to your price list, right?
Yeah, it's a huge learning curve. And I think I had an hour and a bit with you, Katrina. We did a bit, and but I'd already I just went in boots and all. I think that's what you've got to do with Pic-Time. You've got to accept that you're going to spend an entire weekend checking it out and making your husband angry.
It's like learning anything, like you're not going to learn Photoshop in half an hour, right? Like if you want to get in there and make the most out of this platform, exactly what Cate just said and what Cate did, you got to get in there and play with things, experiment, test it on yourself. If you want to get the most out of it, you got to be willing to put into it as well.
I think my biggest tip for anybody who is thinking about trialing Pic-Time is to go in boots and all, and just know that there's going to become a certain point where you'll click and you'll figure out how Pic-Time thinks. And once you figure out how Pic-Time thinks, you can pretty much do anything. So,
Thanks so much for sharing this, and thanks so much for the tip at the end. Lovely hearing from you. Give us, give it to Cate in a chat. Emojis, maybe drop some emojis in the chat. Would love to see some emojis. And thanks so much. Stay with us for the panel. And And the next we will have Joel. Let me find Joel here.
That magic, just quickly for anyone watching, like Cate is literally what, like 4 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that into Pic-Time. So she's already really making it work. Like it's really awesome to see. She's killing it. And I guess the thing for everyone to keep in mind too is that, like has been mentioned, like it's not a silver bullet, right? You can't necessarily just turn it on and it'll fix all your problems. Like as Sai said and Rick, like, it's a process. You've got to explain to your clients how it's all going to work. And if you can marry that with the system, you're onto something. You're onto a winner.
Love it. Sorry, I was just into technical. Hey, Joel.
Hey, how you going?
How's it going, my friend?
That's good. Very nice to meet you guys.
Yes. Yeah, you too. It's lovely to have you here. You are bearded. Are you barefoot?
Yes.
We can see the beard clearly now in the Zoom.
I've got socks on tonight because it's really fucking cold here. So don't sue me, please.
Yeah. So you do wedding photography, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to not use that word anymore. I try to say that I'm a marriage photographer. I try and tell people that I'm a marriage photographer because I think as soon as you use the word wedding, it gives you this preconceived idea of how the day should go. And I believe that the traditional approach of weddings is going out very quickly. And I think I always encourage my couples to think creatively and consciously about how they can get married with intent rather than being on wedding cruise control. So I just use the word marriage because it's, at the end of the day, the registry office, wedding, elopement, whatever, it all has the same result. And how you want to spend the rest of the hours in your day that doesn't take 2 minutes to get married is completely up to you. So I shoot couples doing weird shit, I guess.
Like, oh man, like you just started and you dropped this bomb to all of us. That was like, I love it. I love this approach. Amazing. I kind of also like looking at your photos, like you have like quite unique style, like your branding is very clearly you. And can you talk a little bit about this, like your brand and like, and how you how you work with your couples as well, and then maybe how do you integrate the Pic-Time into this as well? That would be nice.
I'll make sure I'll bring that in. Don't worry. Yeah. So look, my approach is a bit different. Like people who have seen my work definitely appeals to couples that are a bit more alternative, edgy, I know, grungy, whatever creative words you want to use. So I understand that my couples take this approach a bit differently. A lot of them may have that attitude like they're too cool to get photos done, or they're too cool to get photos and stuff printed. So sort of selling products to these sort of people is a little bit harder, but not impossible. I make sure that from the beginning of when couples inquire with me, I send them an information pack that has like, you know, basic Q&A stuff, but also have some links to some of my favorite Pic-Time galleries that I've done. And I ask them when we have like a Zoom chat and a FaceTime, I always meet my couples face to face as much as I can, even though most of them aren't based where I am. And I'll ask them to open up the links, and I'll actually run through how to operate and how to download the photos, how to use the shop and all that sort of stuff, even prior to when they book me. So, you know, business-wise, it's probably not the best because I'm putting time into something, but at least they know that because I think a lot of people go into booking wedding photographers expecting that they're going to get products, and I don't offer products based in my package. It's just like, there's the link. There's Pic-Time does it heaps better than I do with wedding templates, the album templates and all that shit. I'd rather not spend my time doing it. I'd rather, you know, do other stuff. I think we don't think a lot about in the wedding photography what our hourly rate is in terms of how much we work and how much we get paid. So I'm an employer of myself, and I don't want to be working like an employee. So as much that Pic-Time can do on my behalf, the better. And you guys do it heaps better than I do. A lot of my couples will probably do albums, maybe a few prints, but they like stuff that's cool and edgy, I guess, where a lot of wedding sort of stuff is a bit prettier. So I've actually collaborated with Atkins to create like a custom product that I sell on Pic-Time, that I have here that you guys are actually on, which is pretty cool. So it's like, so I always ask in my inquiry form, I get couples to give me their favorite album or artist of all time, like music, because I feel like I really connect to music, and it's something that we all subconsciously, sentimentally, and viscerally connect with. So and you can tell a lot about someone by their music taste. So I'll always ask the couple what their favorite album is, and I'll buy it on vinyl, and then I'll get that shipped to my place, and I make this product. It's like a custom, like double sleeve, like vinyl product.
What?
And yeah, it's pretty cool. And
oh, dude.
and on the back, it has like, I'll read it to you. It's like side A and side B, but it has like their names, where they got married, the longitude, latitude, the date, and sunrise and sunset times. But then on the back, because I send the Pic-Time gallery through to Atkins, they make a QR code and put it on the back here. So they always receive the like album, like the online gallery prior to this product, because it's quicker and I just send it over. But I always give this to my couples, and when they get that, or, you know, even if they don't have a vinyl player, because that vinyl that I bought, I put in one sleeve, and then in the other sleeve, I put 10 prints, just 10 of my favorite shots from the day. And then in the other side is the vinyl. So if they got a vinyl player, they can listen to that. They've probably already got it if it's their favorite album anyway. But if they don't, then they can probably just hang it up as wall art, because sometimes they look really cool. And like they can do translucent pages and stuff. So this was a couple that got married in Nepal. So that's like Everest there, that one there. And so they look pretty cool. I always make sure that they look really like rock and roll and edgy, because, you know, how cool is it to feel like you're the rock star of your own album, you know? And nothing screams out more than being on like an album cover, I guess. So yeah, that's something that I sell as a custom item through you guys. That's probably the only thing that I take control over, because really for me, I'm not much of a print man myself. Like I have a few prints in my house, like just my favorite things, but it's not a huge thing in my life. So like a few speakers have said before, it's like we're generally appealing to people that are similar to us. So I'm just trying to offer out there what I would want to see. And I'd be heaps into that if I got married, and not necessarily like pretty wedding products. And not saying that that's bad, but it's just not for my clients. So this touches on what everyone else has said about know your client market, know the sales train, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, my approach is a lot different and a bit more alternative. So I like to take the control over that, but you guys do everything else heaps better than I do anyway.
So man, like after this, like I quit wedding photography after this, dude. Like after all, actually after all this webinar, we've been blessed with so many different approaches, and I really enjoy seeing yours being totally opposite from what Rick does or from Cate does, but also working for you and like working your way, and like that's awesome. That is also working with Pic-Time. Like that's so crazy. Like how flexible is this system. And what I do love about educating myself in wedding photography is like hearing different approaches from different people, because it's like seeing like the amazing talents of others and getting successful businesses with different approaches. That's awesome. So this is stuff that you're like,
oh sorry, you go.
Yeah, because like I wonder, I want to touch on this vinyl because that excites me. So do they see this before they know it's coming?
No. So
Not at all.
So I do it for secret for all my couples. So throughout the process, you get their emails and they don't even know. The best thing about the product is when they see the vinyl, because they go, how the fuck did you know that was my favorite album? And it's like, well, when you inquired with me like over a year ago, that was your answer. So it's just like the little sentimental things that like people, you've got to think more about. And I think my approach, like I've always believed in just keeping shit simple and not overcomplicating stuff. Like I was listening to Rick and my fucking jaw dropped. I'm like, holy shit, I'm missing out on so much potential income. But then I understand that my clients might find that a little bit overwhelming and they might not care. So for me, it's like, I just try and keep something simple. And the best thing that I had when I came over to you guys was like, like just like everyone transferring over to a new system, it's like, it's very anxiety provoking. And especially when you're used to a pre-existing system, which I was using before. And I was like, shit, like, I'm right in the middle of a season. I have time to transfer, blah, blah, blah. But you guys like jumped on and actually ran me through the tutoring as well, which I'm assuming you guys would offer for everyone anyway. And once I watched that, I was like 10 minutes in, I'm like, cool, I know everything that I need to know, because I love the simple stuff. And that's what I've said about Pic-Time to everyone is like, what you guys do really well is you make the simple stuff really easy and clean, and it's like in and out, bang, there's a gallery that it's really easy to use. But then you have like what Sai said, this loaded gun in the back here, when you're ready to fucking use it, it's there and you can just go for it. So that's what's really cool about what you guys do. It's like, I like to keep shit simple. The way that I shoot, the way that I edit, the way that I approach all my couples, it's like we just drink beers and ride motorbikes and do weird shit. And like, I just try and keep it simple and less pretty. And my couples like that. So when I could implement that from you guys into my business, I was like, this is just easy for me. So it was great, easy transition.
Love it. Absolutely. I love this approach. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing this. Thanks so much for showing the vinyl thing. That's like I saw the chat the moment you showed the vinyl. It went crazy. So we're like, what? This is next level stuff, and this is so you. So like, yeah, kudos to you, my friend, and thanks so much for doing this. We're gonna have the next guest incoming, so we have to kind of keep moving because it's like pretty late for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Getting super late.
It's like almost 9 o'clock here, but I'll stay up for whenever. I'll just get a beer.
Thanks so much, my friend. So yeah, so thanks so much, Joel. And we'll have the last guest before we jump into the panel. So I'm just gonna make a few clicks here. How cool is that? Vinyl. Keep it up in the chat, by the way, to Joel. Wait.
Hey, Magic, can you just double check your sound?
Sorry?
You just double check your sound. You're getting a bit scratchy.
Okay. I will. In a second.
Oh, maybe it's just me. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not just me. Pepper's saying in the chat.
Hi.
G'day, Anna.
Hi.
hopefully Magic can get you up onto screen for
How about
us.
now? Does it sound better now? I changed to a different mic. Hello, Anna.
Hi.
How's it going? How is your evening?
Yeah, good. It's getting pretty late here, so I was just like about to doze off.
Poor thing, we left you till last as well.
Yeah, hopefully
right.
we didn't bore you.
Oh God, no, lots and lots of gold nuggets of info. I feel like I basically just walk away. I think all's been said and done.
Funny enough, I have a one note about you. Super cool photographer from New Zealand. I know that's hard to agree with it, but apparently you have great workflow as well. Sorry, that's the second note. I have two notes that you have a great workflow as well. Well, like, would you mind sharing with us, like what you do, how you do it, what is your workflow, and how does Pic-Time works with it?
Yeah, well, I mean, they've all sort of been mentioned already. A lot of the automations in terms of my workflow, I guess Pic-Time comes into play when I send out my sneak peek gallery. And at this stage, I don't really send any automations or sales things with my sneak peek, but that's probably going to change after listening to a bit of the suggestions and things here, which like I loved. I just like didn't. I guess I'm not one to be super salesy, and I just wanted it to be about the photos when I send out my gallery. That first sneak peek, it's just like, this is about you guys and the photos, and not so much about like, hey, here's a discount. Hey, buy all these things. It's like, it's there. The store is there, but it's like not the thing. And then when I send out my full gallery, I use the rolling publish, which I can't remember who, a few people use it, where I put together a slideshow with Pic-Time and send the slideshow first, so people get sort of hyped up about it. You put beautiful music to it that, again, like a little bit like what Joel mentioned, when I send out my questionnaire, I sort of ask people like, what's your favorite music, and what are your favorite three favorite movies, three favorite, or the songs that you are listening to at the moment, or things like that. And I find that just gives me a bit of an idea or direction of the music I want to use. I don't always use it, but it's just like gives me an idea of their taste, so I can appeal to their tug on their heartstrings. And then, yeah, so after that's been live for a couple of days, then the full gallery gets released to them along with the early bird discount, I think. And yeah, so they can have a look at the gallery and hopefully look at the store and see the discount, which is sort of applied. It shows like what the price was and what the new price is now, rather than like putting in your discount at the end where you don't actually know how much you're getting off. You're just like rough ballparking it. With the rolling publish, you can actually see right there how much you're getting off, which is cool. And the other thing I love about the rolling publish is that it what do you call it? My brain's not working. Slows down the release to guests and family. So really, the couple get to see the gallery first, and I think that's really important for people. Well, some people don't mind. Some people super love sharing and things, whereas others are like, hey, we want to see it first. And that's fine. And then they can hide some photos if they're like, oh, we don't want a whole bunch of people to see those ones. And yeah. And then what was the other ones? Oh, the print incentive can be sort of applied at any time throughout the year. Just I did one about 2 weeks ago, just saying, you know, in New Zealand here at the moment we're going through another lockdown, and I just like, just to cheer up your day, here's 3 free prints. And with the hopes that people will be like, oh, let me buy 4, or let me buy 5, or let me buy a print and an album and a frame and everything else. So it worked. Some people just got the 3 prints, which is fine. Like no water. No problem with that. But it was nice just to get a few extra sales through people being like, oh, I don't want to leave that one behind. And another one that I use is the abandoned cart. Again, like I don't like being salesy, I don't like being like nagging, but I think all of us have abandoned carts, and when we get a reminder and it's in our inbox and it's like, hey, I'm still here, or like, hey, there's a little discount on this thing over here, that definitely helps to sort of give you a few extra sales or dollars or things like that. So yeah, it's great. But I just did a little talk the other day on the Instagram for International Wedding Photographer of the Year Awards, which I'm judging this year. And yeah, it was really nice to have a chat with Cate and Paul from Atkins just about the whole workflow. So obviously clients order through the website and it gets but I don't even have to touch it. Like it just goes straight to Atkins and they send it off without their branding, just send it off all clear and nice and off to the client.
Yeah, white label.
That's white label. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, label.
Yeah. So no, it's I think it's just a really awesome system that's going on.
And thanks so much for sharing. Like I love like that we can hear the same apps that are working for you guys in a similar or even different way a little bit. But for you, I think like what you're talking about is that like you are like you try not to be too salesy. Like, do you use any of the custom templates with your emails or with these apps to write your own messages?
So the wording and the copy that's already in the Pic-Time automations is a great place to start, but I definitely you have to put your own voice in. That is so key. If you have to come across as yourself and genuinely just talking more about the experience of the photos. Like, hey, imagine sitting down with your loved ones and like sharing a glass of wine and flicking through this album. Like you have to take the time to write the copy. And if you can't do copy, which a lot of us can't, and I'm one of those people that's like I just mull it over for hours and hours. It's got to be perfect, and it's just mind-boggling, and it takes so much brain power. But if you're not one of those people, then find a copywriter that is one of those people, because there's so many out there, and they're not that expensive, and it's worth its weight in gold. So yeah, putting your voice into those emails and those messages is so important. Be genuine, be informative, and for me, like I don't use all of the email timing, so I wouldn't have like 1 week and 5 days and 3 days and 1 day. I'd probably only do like 3 of the options rather than the 5 options. It just works for me. I just like to be a little bit more conservative in terms of like the number of emails that I'm sending out, because I know how many emails I get into my email box all the time, and it's just frustrating, and I'll just unsubscribe if it's too much. But
yeah, that's a great tip. That's something that also I try to work with. That's like to have your own brand. Like when you have your website built, right? When you have your pricing brochures designed, like everything has the same voice, you have to move it to the Pic-Time as well, and Pic-Time lets you do that, which is amazing. Like including colors, including you can change the fonts, you can change the all the copy. So this is amazing that you say that works for you. I have one more question before we move to the panel about these awards. Can you say like how maybe photographers can sign up for these?
Anyone that's shot a wedding ever, please just go through your galleries and like have a look with fresh eyes, and go onto the website International Wedding Photographer of the Year Awards. It's a bit of a mouthful. We can call it IWPOTI for short. And have a look at the old galleries and see if it sparks some like, oh, I think I know an image that might sort of suit this category. That I should totally submit it. There's so many prizes up for grabs, including a Canon R5, which I recently bought and I absolutely love. So yeah, no, definitely. Entries close on the 30th of September, and it's still early bird entry, so you can get a discount. I can't remember exactly what it is. I think 20% off for But anyway, so just there's a discount at the moment, and there won't be one after the 23rd of September. But yeah, I'm just super excited to see all the entries and the artwork coming in from everyone. So take a look at it and see if you.
And Pic-Time is the partner of the awards as well. So of course we do approve and recommend and advise. Go for it. So thanks so much. You can actually stay with us. I'm going to now invite the rest of the speakers here up on stage. We'll do the gallery view, and hopefully including Nirit and Amir, our Pic-Time founders. Are they here?
Click your cameras on, guys, if you can.
Hello, everyone. Again. So we have Rick, we have Sai, Cate, Joel, Anna, Trish. Thanks so much, everyone, for sharing your stuff with us. That was amazing. I like also in the chat, please give it up to all these guests, Katrina, Trish, Joel, Cate, Sai, Rick. You've been all amazing because you shared like some of your ideas, some of your business stuff, your tips and tricks that you guys, perfected in the last couple months, years, and so on. Wait, what do I have to do with the? Is there Amir and Nirit here? Can you let me know? I cannot see you. Maybe I have to do something. Is that you under Pic-Time? Possibly. I am Pic-Time. They are Pic-Time. There's like 7 other Pic-Time here. Yes. Okay. I have it here. Hi guys. You are muted still. Wait. Ask to unmute.
Yeah, I think we're good now, right?
Hey, can you introduce yourselves to our crowd?
Yes. So I'm Nirit, and this is Amir, and we're working together, doing some stuff. And actually, I have to tell you that I was sitting to start this like webinar in the beginning, and I said, okay, I will go to the restroom in a few minutes. And I was just like glued to the table, to the chair, because it was so good and so interesting. And I was so excited to see all of you here. And I was looking at the chat, and I was writing so many things. It's like scrambles, but writing so many things, so many like good ideas and beautiful things that you said. I don't know if I'll have the time to go through every one of you, the guest panel, because each one of you said something so important. But I guess, okay, that's the hi. This is me and Amir.
Love it. And like knowing you guys, knowing Pic-Time guys, that they do listen to the users. They do listen to the educators in the so we are hoping maybe to see some cool new stuff after this webinar, possibly after all the other webinars. Is there like, if I could ask, like in the panel, because like you guys all have some different approaches, but also there are some common things that you all crave for, I guess, which is creating beautiful memories for our couples. And do you, like, my question would be about slideshows. Do you all make slideshows? Because like some of you talked about slideshows, some of you not. I wonder, how do you guys use slideshows in your businesses? Anyone wants to start? Or do I have to pick?
Sure. I love the slideshows because it's a way to show the story the way that you imagined the story was to be told, and creating an emotive response through using the right music and having it to the right beat as well. I've just got so many, after sending slideshows, so many replies just being like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that. Like I was like, you've just made our wedding day look better than it actually was.
And do you have any, that could be a good conversation. Do you have any tips on making actually slideshows? Do you do like a lot of images and few songs? Do you make one song and just the selection of like how, careful you are about picking the right images in the slideshow and the music?
Yeah, I have a hard time narrowing down the number of images, but if you can sort of curate it as tightly as possible to keep it rich and purposeful with the images that you use. It's the best idea. I end up probably using two songs to a wedding. Yeah.
How about like any others of you? Like, how do you do it? A lot of songs, just a selection of songs? Do you do vertical ones maybe?
I'm pretty big.
I do. Oh.
No, you go, roll.
No, I do the landscape ones just because that's kind of how I'm using it at the moment. I would like to play with the mobile ones a little bit down the track. Oh, actually, no, I did a mobile one for family, but weddings I've done landscapes. Typically just one song. I always find it really hard to cull, but the more I cull, the more I like it as well. As Anna said, you know, it's really to curate and tell the story and just, you know, make them just want to keep watching it over and over. And on that note, I guess for everybody else here is also that you guys have made the slideshows actually purchasable. And it wasn't something that I expected when I first kind of started doing it through that new system. I used to just import like a video kind of thing, but I got so many, oh, how can I buy this? How can I download this? How can I, you know, get this kind of thing? So that's an amazing kind of add-on feature as well.
Ty?
Yeah, like at a level of like crafting a slideshow for an experience, you know, it's one song, like someone spent, you know, like $100,000 to plot and plan the emotional trajectory of a song. It just does the heavy lifting for you. It's honestly like the easiest home run you can imagine. So yeah, I think, you know, we always do one song and just let the song do the storytelling. And once you've kind of like nailed what that soundtrack is and how it works for you, and if the trajectory kind of flows with how a wedding day flows or how you do the storytelling wedding day, you know, your narrative style, suddenly it's pretty hard to see your images away from the soundtrack, you know, which is a pretty good sign. I mean, the ultimate goal of an experience of a slideshow like that is not that people struggle to get to the end, but is that they fucking hit play again immediately, you know. So the beauty of editing and the beauty of like trimming that thing down to be like, well, that just absolutely punch you in the feels, is you guarantee that someone's gonna be like, take me around again. I want to have the whole experience all over again. So I think top tip with slideshows, if you can get it into one song, if you can edit your stuff so that you've got this, you know, so that it's basically like, I need another one. I need to see it again. You're onto something.
Joel, I see you want to add something to this.
That's what I do whenever I've got something to say, but I don't want to interrupt. But yeah, I only offer slideshows for couples that don't get videographers. So I always send out questionnaires saying, are you guys having video? And if they do, then I don't, because I think you know, in our industry, like photographers are seen as sort of a priority in terms of over videographers, which I think is completely wrong. One, because they do so much more work than us, and I think their product actually helps you relive the day quicker and easier and better. They understand how cinema works. They understand how movies work. Like, they capture music, they capture audio. They do so much that will provide so much, like, you know, a beautiful experience for the couple. And if they didn't get that, then I will try and replicate that as much as I can throughout slideshows. But if they have a videographer, then I don't bother, because that's their job, I think. And I've said before, I don't really do as many slideshows because I want my photos to stand out as individuals rather than, you know, photographers capture moments really well, and I want those to stay alive rather than reliving it quickly. So yeah, I try and let the videographers do that. But if there's none there, then I'll definitely do one, because you guys have made it so easy to do it. So why not?
That's a great one as well. Rick? Yeah.
Love that.
Love it. Yeah.
The rest of my life now, Joel. That's it. Yeah, look, I don't have any cool shit like that to add other than something nerdy. So I love the option to have both mobile and the landscape versions, because I'll actually do both versions, put it on my blog, and then just have each one play depending on what device that person is on. So So that's really easy to do. So then it's just always going in the best way possible for that person who's.
But you say you embed them on your website?
Correct. Yeah. So I really like
them next to each other, sort of. Like...
No. So you will only see one, but on your side, you're able to choose how you want that block to play. So
gotcha.
It'll detect if you're on a mobile, it'll play the mobile slideshow.
Yeah.
If you're on a desktop, it'll play the desktop slideshow. And I will say as well, man. So slideshow is the number one word that people mention in my Google reviews, because you can see kind of what those top 5 words are. And I always get a slideshow out to them the day after the wedding. And I really think it's the best. My photos are like, yeah, man, as Sai said, like you get to piggyback on that incredible creation that someone's gone to the effort of making with a song. And I just kind of slot my photos in there and they're riding that emotional wave and then looking at themselves. So it's bringing out so much more from my photos than I think I would have had there otherwise.
Mm-hmm. And for family photographers, we have Trish, Cate, girls, like, would you add something to the conversation with the not wedding stuff, but the family stuff? Because I know it's also like important, or maybe something else you want to add in this area.
Not so much maybe in addition to anything that we've maybe already gone through, but I think if you guys are looking at the simple sales system, then the slideshow is such an integral part of that. Again, it's the first time they see their photos and they go through that emotion, and there's often tears with all that kind of stuff. And that's just, when they're choosing their photos, when they're reliving that experience and seeing themselves reflected in a way that they sometimes don't see themselves in that light. It's just a really special experience. So yeah, I'm all for slideshows.
Yeah, same. And it's also, it can be done so quickly too in the system. So yeah, in a way, for families particularly too, you'd be mad not to give it a go. It doesn't take long at all, and it does sort of, it does have the power to elevate the photos and add a level of emotion in that isn't always present without sound.
Yeah, if you want to get a real insight into how people, how that kind of stuff like brings up emotion, I mean, just do a little bit of Googling about like how your brain works and prioritizing reading and watching and hearing and all those sorts of things. And suddenly a whole bunch, it's like, number one priority for your brain is reading over everything. Like it's like you notice that if you're watching a TVC on TV and suddenly there's a caption come up or a brand or something, your brain just goes, forget everything, I have to read. But if you take away that, and then suddenly the equal experience of watching and hearing, like the sensory sort of the sensory priority, like in how your brain works, it suddenly becomes really obvious how you can just use some of those things of how you're naturally wired, how our species is naturally wired to just suddenly just hit someone right in the feels. And holy shit, it's, we all experience it every single day with being manipulated like that. Sometimes for good, sometimes for bad, but like your brain works in a certain way, like your emotional sense works in a certain way. And if you're not kind of like using that to just bring someone back to that whole experience, get on it. It's honestly just like pouring petrol on the whole experience.
Okay, since we crossed the 2-hour mark, I wanted to give mic to you guys for the last question to the panel, Amir, because maybe you have something that you want to ask.
I'm not committing for the last one, but just because me personally, I'm not a photographer, but I went through a big turn in the approach for what's the purpose. I don't know if it's a negative word here, but this is how usually I'm looking on what's the purpose of each of this. So what's the purpose for the slideshow in the story? And when we worked on the beat matching, so there was a discussion on what would be the pace, the normal pace that we have and the slow pace. And I came that the default would be around the 4 seconds. So for the slideshow, because for me, I'm a little bit older, and it takes time to see the photo and so on. And it wasn't even a question for me. I was sure that 4 seconds is the fastest that you can go. And then it went to our support is photographers, and we always have these discussions with them. And it came like 4 seconds maybe, but more towards the 1 second. And as we moved through the development of the slideshow, and I started to realize that I was perceiving the slideshow at the beginning as a way to present the photos, and I think it's still a valid thing. But I'm starting to look more now on the slideshow as a way for you to just trigger the people. So it can be, and it's a challenging thing because you have a lot of photos. So you have the couple, for them, the slideshow is one thing, but then you have the guests where the slideshow is a totally different thing. It's the guest want to see a few photos from a big stream of photos. I'm talking about wedding right now, of course. And the slideshow is an amazing tool to give them the motivation to say, search for this thing. But if you have a slideshow where you feel that you already saw everything, then you're less inclined to scroll down and go through the photos. So I think the slideshow, not for the couple, for the guest, slideshow, which is a fast-paced, shorter, and give the different aspects of the event, or the different aspects is maybe again it's
chapters,
scenes, or the different memorable
moments of the day.
Of the whole event. If they see something that they want to see, the fact that they cannot see it for clarity is good, because then it gives them the pool to go in and see more. And and we made the turn, and if you'll see that the fast pace on the beat matching is between half a second to a second. And well, this is also for the social media, so to be able to put something on the social media. And we think that also we learned, actually, we kind of thought, and after it came out, we saw that the slideshows and the social media is a perfect fit. And so if you're making short slideshows, the pace is fast, you cannot see, but you get the feel of the event. It's a very powerful thing to convey, or message to convey to not to the main clients, not to the couple, but to all the friends and family. So after this very long preamble, so what is the purpose for you for putting a slideshow? Is it for the couple to see the photos in an alternative way, where a slideshow can be half an hour long? Or is it to give a taste of the event? Or is it to promote it on social media? What's the... I would really like to get feedback from you, from the panel.
And actually,
people on the chat, if they can.
Yeah, we read on chat.
I got in first. I think a really cool thing about the slideshow is when I do them, I put them up the top, and I think the way that I approach and look at slideshows, it's like a trailer for the movie. Like when they scroll down, they get to see the actual products. So I think whenever I do it, I always try and keep music quite fast paced, so then the cuts can be fast paced, so they're not seeing stuff very quickly. And then that gives them a bit of an idea. And, you know, the beautiful thing about music is you can choose things to spark them into different energies and different moods and different emotions. So I'll try and pick a song, obviously, that best reflects the day, like I'm sure we all do. And then, I approach it like it's a trailer. So short, fast, quick, fast paced, so then they can scroll through and see the full movie.
Okay.
I'd say with the slideshow, the intention is to show the story how I imagine it should be told through the images that I've taken, because obviously we can order the images in Lightroom that is appropriate for the story, but it just adds another element of putting the story together in the way that you're wanting to tell it. That's sort of how I see a slideshow and the benefit of it.
So it's for the story. It's not with a purpose to help guests or to give them more motivation.
That's secondary bonus. Absolutely, it's a wonderful bonus, but that's probably not my main thing. I just want it to be initially for the clients to be like, oh my God, I'm so in love with this and the whole thing, and like yeah, watch it again. I want to watch it again. And I'm going to share it now because I've watched it like 10 times. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to be like, I want a couple to look at it and go, oh, because it's the first time. They're like, that looks like how it felt, and destroy them.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So it's mainly for the couple, not for the guests.
Yeah, 100% for the couple. I mean, and then, you know, like if the couple love it, it's share a bond and away it goes. But yeah, just purely like absolutely, not even trailer, just absolutely best foot forward. Here's the biggest punch in the feels you're ever going to get. Boom. Where they're like, oh, not only it looks like how it felt, but holy shit, we're glorious, you know?
So if I think both of you said about that the main objective or the main person you see when you create a statue is the clients or the main clients, the couple. Do you think that creating, let's say, another smaller version of that, which can be shareable or something that is approaching the guest, is something that you're that has a value, that you're thinking has a...
I mean, I always feel like the pathway to the guest is through the couple, and if they're in love with how it feels and how they look, and you know, then the guests are easy cake after that, you know. But it's also like, I think too, it like I always find it really interesting, like hearing like Anna talk about like how she talked about how she feels about selling and about how couples, you know, like how you deal with a couple and not wanting to be in their inbox. Also, like that's how I feel as well. Like we have our culture, like New Zealand culture, is very much like that. Like where you you know, you're not pushing the thing really hard, all that sort of stuff. And so there's a lot of things about you know, how we do things and think about how people respond to things in our culture, which are maybe almost the absolute opposite of, say, American selling culture, where they love to be sold to. They love to have things crafted for guests and for couples and all this different stuff. So some of that is just our curiously, you know.
It's not necessarily though being pushy. It's creating the right experience for the different people that will come.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
as pushy though, but
but
it's
yes.
Yes,
yeah,
and I saw it when you talked about like I don't remember. I think it was Anna when she talked about the sales automation and how she gets in and takes off some emails and takes off like lower the volume of disturbing your clients or like adding a salesy experience to your clients. So I think it's and that's the beauty that you can do what you want. You need to know who you are and who your customers are and adjust it. So I think there is a different. I feel like a different vibe in the culture approach. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I did the same thing, Anna. So yeah, I'm glad to hear it.
When we work on even in the holidays now, this like we're in the last stretch of the holiday automations. So we will give the maximum, like for the US is always the maximum volume of sales approach and engaging. So we do it by that, but as you said, you can always take it a notch down, take off some emails, and like you said, Sai, it's important to learn this, like to get into the automation and learn it and craft it to your own voice. And yeah, that's it.
I also love the conversation in the chat. So for those of you who have not been following, you can come back to the chat as well for a second. I'll leave the webinar for a second. Like when we finish it, I'll leave it on the cover page so you can go back, because like when I finish it, like the chat will go disappear. So you can maybe go through that and flick through that. And like I think we're to finish this long night for some of you. For us, closer to the different time zone, it's like the day is about to start right now. So thank you so much. Like, it's been amazing. Thanks so much for all the attendees. And for those of you who've been watching on the YouTube live link, and I don't know if it was on Facebook or not, but I know YouTube and here on Zoom, this is recorded, so it's already, you're able to rewatch it on a YouTube platform, so YouTube Pic-Time account. So yeah, we've been blessed with like tons of knowledge from each of you. So again, thanks so much, Trish, Anna, Joel, Cate, Sai, Katrina, my co-host, thanks so much for co-hosting with me, and then also dropping some knowledge and doing the demo. That was amazing. And Rick, like I think I'm gonna follow a chat. You've been like, you are a weapon that just works and just bursts with the bullets. That's amazing. And Nirit, Amir, thanks so much for making Pic-Time that we can all enjoy and use it.
I want to just Aga, to thank Aga. She's always behind the scene, but she's like such an important powerhouse of these webinars, and I just want to give her a big hug. I can't, but I do. Oh, hello.
There's a spotlight for Aga.
Yes, that was amazing. Really loved the webinar. I just sent you all an email as well, so have a look at your mailbox later.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night and a great week. What day is today? Tuesday. So a great week. Still a great week in front of us. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, legends. See ya.
Thank you.